What's up guys, Justin here with a new video for you today. I'm going to be talking about shock maintenance and rebuilding them, because out of everything, the biggest question I get is how do you make your shocks so smooth? So today I'm going to be talking about what I like to do to prepare my shocks, because it's time to do the first running video for the new body. So I'm checking over everything on the truck. In that process, I rebuild all the shocks, check all the screws and all that. So I'm going to take this time today to show you a quick rebuild of one of the rear shocks, just to give you an idea of what I like to do with the rebuilding process, and then hopefully that will help you with your own shocks. Alright, now one of the first things you want to do is make sure you have a nice clean working surface. Have one of the rear shocks here, one of the Yeti rear shocks, and I'm going to be just rebuilding that for you today. So I'm going to take everything off, and now we have just the shock. So you can see here there's dirt around here on the shock shaft and on the bottom of the shock body. So the first thing you want to do is just clean that off with a toothbrush. It's just an old one I have hanging around. So now you're going to want to empty out all the oil in this shock. What I like to do is just cut up an old fast food cup. Works great for holding shock oil. You're going to just want to get out all the oil. A good way of doing that is holding it diagonal at 45 degrees and just running it up and down. And then just clean off the rest of it with your towel. You can also just right here dab the inside of the shock just to get off the oil that's on top of the piston, and then you should be good to go. I mean, you can hang it upside down to get out the very last bits of oil, but it really doesn't make that big of a difference. So that's about it for taking out the oil. So with the shock cap, I'm just going to clean that out as well. Get any dirt or debris out of there, including oil. Same thing with the bladder. Wipe that off. Make sure it's nice and dry. So you're going to put your bladder back in there. Get that ready to go for when your shocks are done. Now your shock should be all dry, emptied out. Now I'm going to take my shock stand here and just set that in there. For these rear ones, I'm putting in 50 weight. And after doing this so many times, I sort of just get a feeling of where I need to stop, because I like to run minimal rebound. So you can see right there the perfect amount of oil with the shock shaft all the way up, or at least 1/8 of an inch to the top. And then all you're going to do now is just set that for a couple seconds. Make sure all the air bubbles come out. And if you're really careful of pouring the oil, there will be no air in there, so you should be good to go. Now you're going to take your shock cap with your bladder already set inside. Now you're going to hold the bottom of the shock shaft. You're going to slowly thread it on just like that. And if you done it correctly, the piston should still be where you set it before, with minimal rebound. Now you're going to just run it up a couple times, and now you are good to go. A nice smooth shock, ready to be thrown back on the truck. Having a weird assortment of springs and spacers I put on these. Now that's back together. Smooth shock should be pretty quiet. You shouldn't hear any air bubbles or anything like that. You can just see how stiff these need to be to support the weight of my truck, just to give you an idea. So that's it. It's very important that you rebuild your shocks often, because dust and dirt do get in there, and they could ruin your shock over time. So I think it's very important to rebuild them as often as possible. I like to do it every 2 or 3 weeks just to keep the truck smooth. Yeah, you will go through oil more than the average person, but I think it's worth it. So if you thought this video was helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any other ideas for videos similar to this, leave it in the comments, because I'll be happy to take on those ideas. And as always, thanks for watching guys, and we will see you next time.